Making progress, checking things off our list. What was this place? Well, let's find out, shall we?
This moon was nothing but cold, cruel rock. It could never have been home to anyone. And yet, someone had been here. And someone was still standing guard.
This is an unforgiving place. Were there any other surfaces at all? Nope. This moon appears most rugged. There must have been something important about this place. Something that made this a thing worth building. The guardian of this place. I wonder who you are. Similar stone to the goddess Amearcy, only far less old. Almost 1,500 years old. I don't see a way up there. Why would you want to climb up there, mistress? Can you not see him from where you stand? I'm an archaeologist. If there's a god here, I want to find out what it thinks it's doing. But why must humans insist on standing on things to understand them? Because it's more fun? Perhaps this path leads around the statue. Up here, Six, and don't complain. Eagle's claws!
The path ended at the edge of an enormous crater, where a mountain had been plucked out like a rotten tooth, and something had been built across the wound.
It's a dish. What are we looking at? I have no idea, mistress. Can you scan it, Six? Scan it? Scan for what, mistress? It is a hole. It's clearly not just a hole. Scan it for everything. Here is something, mistress. The tiles lining its surface are metallic pottery composite. A what composite? Metallic pottery. Heat-resistant, reflective, conductive. Where did they even get enough metal for this crater? From the mine we found, perhaps? It is quite possible, mistress. Interestingly enough, that looks like a weapon dish. Did we find the Death Star? There's also something over there, which I will get to as soon as I get up here. Amandu claimed he saw corridors full of machines. Did he find a way inside that we haven't? There's every possibility he was simply lying, mistress. People left offerings at the feet of the god. One got stuck in the crack between the stones. A silver sextant. It looks like it dates from the earliest days of the nebula. That's quite a thing to offer to a god. Some kind of sailor god, are you? An heirloom, maybe. It has that look to it. Something that was old, even when it was used. It doesn't have an inscription on the casing. I think this comes from the same place as the book-limited telescope I found before. This should help us locate the site that we're already standing on. Oh no, ancient library. That would be good. Ancient library information would be very helpful. Aha! I knew there were markings. There are markings here. Let's see if we can't find out who you are. Serpents. Sky God guards Serpent's Eye. What's a Serpent's Eye? It's a nebula eye. Is it something here? Is that what they called this place? This definitely isn't the Serpent God, though. Yeah, the Serpent is the nebula. The rivers. Mistress, I hope you satisfied your desire to be high up. I found something up there, Six. A sextant. Just as I thought I might. Gods are offering points. And this looks like a way down. Catch me if I fall, Six. And how do you propose I do that, mistress? Using my ready wit?
The metal ledge halfway down was wide enough for walking. Wide enough for robots, too.
There's something at the center. A cover? It looks like it has handles. A covered well? Oh, it's a vault thingy. Except... Please wait, mistress. What is it? I have found something. Gravity, mistress. What's that meant to mean? Gravity within the crater is lower than the gravity outside it. Safe to jump, then. Do not joke, mistress. It's that giant gravity gun. There's definitely symbols over there. But there's no way I'd keep my balance on this slope if I tried to climb down. And there are some big holes to go sliding into. Unless we can find a section that hasn't shattered. How can gravity be low? Is this dish some kind of machine? Some kind of, I don't know, lens? The dish is just as it appears, mistress, a curved tiled floor, but perhaps the moon's density itself is low. What's this moon made of? Don't tell me it's hollow. I will do a scan. There's writing around the rim. That is carved into that, alright. Does land here and be welcome make sense? Land here? This is a landing pad? There's a structure over there. With a mast. For a flag? I suspect it is functional, mistress. Intended, perhaps, for some kind of beacon.
The scale of the place was mind-boggling. It must have been built by giants for giants.
Why is the robot unhappy? Bless the goddess! The air is so thin here! Take your time to recover, mistress. It is clear this place was intended for robot workers. You know what I see over here, though? I see a gecko. 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 Why can't you pick it up? Better not be my gecko. Unless he comes with me. There's definitely something inside here. Equipment? It's hard to make out. This looks like a door. It looks a lot like the ones we saw in the Steel Empire mine. Only it won't open. What if you press the button? It's exactly like the turret we saw before. Only the Steel Empire mine. Steel Empire mine. It must be from a similar period. Is this some kind of mechanism? I can't see how to work it. Just lights. Please stand aside. You have the magic plug. The locking mechanism is internal and magnetic. There.
A dark, cramped space, stuffed with metal and pipes and wires. It was like I'd turned into an ant and was now crawling around inside the robot.
This place was clearly abandoned. No disaster, no destruction. Whatever it was, it became obsolete. And there's something written here. Words for this. Impossible. Ramps. The site wasn't managed by humans at all. These doors seem stuck. I can get my fingers in, but they won't budge. The power to that section appears to have failed. Can you divert more power that way? I am not some kind of plumber, mistress. Let's see what's up here. What was that noise? I believe it was the lower door resealing itself, mistress. But you could open it again, can't you? I should think so, mistress. Does this one work? I do not believe so, mistress. Seems a lot of the wiring here has been rendered purely decorative by time. Good thing the controls downstairs still works, or we'd be stuck in here. It does still work, doesn't it? Statistically, it will. Look at it. It's beautiful. Can you imagine ships coming to rest here, like flies on a flower? Someone oversaw this site from here. A regulator? It can't have been a good job. It's uncomfortable, cramped, but robots do not care. Some kind of tripod. There was something here once. An instrument of some kind. It's the wrong shape for a winch. I've seen this kind of tripod before. It's the same as the one on Jetniki's moon, on the roof of the Hermitage near Maesi. Angled to look at the center of the crater, or else tilted up to the sky. Impossible to say for sure, except there's another one up there, so we're just gonna go look at that one and make an educated guess. Definitely not a flagpole. There's no ropes, no fittings for any ropes. It is a signal mast. A beacon. For sending something somewhere. Iox has a similar one for sending messages. Where does the mast send to, Six? Please wait, mistress. Yes, I believe I can deduce that, but it is hardly accurate enough to pinpoint a target. This one's not empty. A telescope? The ladies in grey on Elbereth telescope on the roof. They encouraged us to look at Iox through it and dream. So this place is an observatory. Was the ruin near Maersi an observatory too? The locations are interesting, mistress. Separated, but aligned. They suggest a triangulation. We know Renba found a telescope on the crashed ship. Another on the ruin near Maersi. But we did better. We found one more. Triangulation. Of something. The data is indeed thin. What would help? More telescopes, mistress. A triangulation requires 3 or more points. If we assume the scope aboard the ship was bound for, or taken from, somewhere near Elbereth. Please wait, mistress. Let's see now. Oh, there's no eyepiece. What's the use of that? The tripod we found on the crashed moon. It was just like the one I found on the Hermitage where Renba died. But the crater site was old. Much older than the Empire. Assuming all those tripods were set up at the same time. Is this it? The observatory that Renba wanted me to find? Mistress? You have spoken to Renba. Forget I mentioned it. You are withholding something from me. Mistress, I am scalded. This looks like it comes free. And it has been inscribed, too. The precision needed for this. Lost. Look me for aid. What do you make of the telescope, Six? Indeed, most interesting. So, what is it? It is a recording device, Mistress. There is a Rebesque foil at its apex. Recording what? If this device is a telescope, perhaps it has been recording the movements of the sky. Interesting. I guess it's good that we still have more questions. Perhaps there was a telescope device in the stand on the roof of the ruin near Maerzi. Perhaps Janiki took it. That might imply our telescope contains extractable data. Before is really the only thing that makes sense, but there's no time in there, so I'm not sure about that one. I'll believe for now. So what was this place observing? The rivers. Nothing else seems plausible to me, Mistress. Alright, let's plug into the thingy and see what we can do. Some kind of control panel. Like those in the mine. And based on its position, just under the window, this must control something out there. Six, can you operate this? That one controls the temperature of the floor, Mistress. This one, however, appears more interesting. Do you work it out? I already have. 3, you're there. I have activated the panel, but I see no change. Maybe the power's gone. Mistress. Yes, Six? I have a result, Mistress. What kind of result? The triangulation of the telescopes, Mistress, that Renba found, assuming they were recording devices, transmitting data to each other and to a central source. Assuming they were positioned deliberately to cover a particular sector of the nebula from many angles, while maintaining line of sight to that central source. Mistress, I believe I have found Renba's observatory. It is far further than we have ever been. How far is this observatory, Six? Significantly further than the air tanks of the Nightingale will allow, Mistress. I hope this isn't Renba's observatory. If it is, then I'm definitely missing something. There's nothing here. Something definitely happened. I just don't know what it was. Open the door, Six. Mistress? Open the door, Six. It would seem the power to this control is not entirely functional. Presumably the system has not been used or maintained for some time. Are you saying we're trapped in here? After a fashion, yes. So, Hopper is out of here. I am afraid the line of sight required is not available. We can head for the roof. An excellent idea, Mistress. Please wait where you are. I will return momentarily. Six? I can see your light through the wall. Mistress. That was impressive, Six. Thank you, Mistress. It appeared to solve the problem. Escape! I have fixed the lock, Mistress. It will not close again. Well, that's good, I suppose. So what was this place? I suppose it's the right shape to be the Serpent's Eye. We know it was run by robots. Some kind of recording station. Observing the rivers. The crater itself is most likely a dock. A place for ships to land. The low gravity in the crater helps ships to take off from here. We have obtained 2 interesting artifacts here, the sextant and the telescope device. Also, we have learned enough to pinpoint one new location of note, the site of an ancient library. If you'd like me to activate the hopper now, Mistress, I will. I want to get down to the center of the crater first. And I thought I saw somewhere that looked like a reasonable path. Like right about here. This section of the slope looks intact. No gaps between here and the lower level. I could slide. Until you reach the bottom, Mistress, where there is a sizable hole. I want to go down. Well then. I'll float down. You coming? I will follow. On my treads. Here goes. By the goddess! Well, that was fun. Made it. Huh. It looks like water under there. The gravity really is low. I feel like a child again. The pupil of the Serpent's Eye. 6, it's warm. Mistress, please. And there's something underground. Something powering this. There must be. But what is it? I cannot tell, Mistress. It resembles a well. But I do not believe there is a wellspring anywhere here. Let's see if I can... An opening, Mistress. Opening. How far down do you think it goes, Six? I could not say, Mistress. Can you shine a light down there? After a fashion, Mistress. Crystals. It's lined with iolite crystals. Like the one Renba left on Maercy. Like the one... the same as the crystals on board the crashed ship Renba dug up. Indeed, Mistress. Is it the crystals that make it able to float? I don't know that I want to jump inside. Well, let's see where this goes. There better be a ladder. Do not move, Mistress. If you attempt to annihilate yourself by entering a vertical drop, I will hopper you immediately. I know what I'm doing. It is clear that you do not. Step away. Alright, alright. I was a little worried I wouldn't be able to get out anyway. Thank you, Mistress. Your obedience is appreciated. Did you say obedience? I am not obedient. Very good, Mistress. So long as you do what I say, I do not mind the verb you use. I don't know why Miari wanted me to take you with me. The professor cares about your safety. then she certainly doesn't care about yours. I am curious. Sleesent. Now stay there like a good dog. Here goes. By all the Waken waters, I bounce off it. Mistress, how did you... Mistress, are you intact? 6, I flew. I flew. You are lucky you did not fly off into space, mistress. By the waters. It seems clear. This hatch was the locus of an ancient upriver. Depleted now, perhaps, but still active. You did not fly, mistress. You sailed. If there was an upriver here, does that mean there's water after all? Perhaps there is a wellspring directly below the opening, mistress. The water was directed into the river, rather than saturating this moon. So the crystals here, they alter gravity. And they still work. Incredible. Maybe Arroy can help explain these crystals. The crystal is not mechanical, mistress, and I would advise caution. Caution? Why? It seems to me that a crystal capable of storing a gravity-manipulating force is potentially a seismic discovery with complex modifications. It may not be something you wish to give to Arroy. You mean, gravity crystals are something I shouldn't give to Elbereth? You're worried about what? That they'll use them to drive ships through the dead space, and approach Iox without coming in via the river gates? I have no concerns, mistress. I am a robot, after all. But I should think Professor Miari might. She was not happy when you gave that crown to Arroy, after all. I thought you said Iolite was worthless. Now you think it bends gravity? I do not think the crystal bends gravity. I believe it stores some kind of force, which does. It must have been collected and applied to the crater where we saw it. Painted symbols. Towards where waters meet. I think that's correct. This is telling us where the upriver went. If only I understood the rest of it properly. Can you take a bearing? I can, mistress. I can see the gravitational force lines still present here. I should note the bearing is not the same as that from the antenna mast. Alrighty. Cool. If this crater really had an upriver under that hatch... 6, that raises so many questions. Where has the river gone? Was it artificial? Can you make a river? Divert one? Did the ancients make the nebula using uprivers? Could we change it for ourselves? I cannot be sure, mistress. There's nothing more here. Have we learned anything new? It's likely this is the Serpent's Eye. There was an upriver here. There still is. So the Serpent's Eye was a port. A place where large ships came to restock, run by robots, and later used for observations of the sky. We have collected initial evidence of one more new location, an unknown ancient site. Shall I use the hopper again, mistress? Do it. Let's bounce. Quite literally. So we left the surface of the Serpent's Eye crater, with enough new evidence to find a previously unknown site. Oh, cool. So that's the Serpent's Eye. And yes, it raises a lot of questions. So that was the Serpent's Eye. That's exactly what I said. some kind of landing bay for ships, built above a crystal deposit to make takeoff easier. Perhaps a place for doing repairs and refits. Perhaps, mistress. It is hard to say. Evidently, it is very old, mistress. Evidently. Okay, good. We ain't leaving you on the Serpent's Eye. Definitely the same crystals inside the hatch in the metal crater. Must have been useful somehow for making the upriver. From the roof of the Serpent's Eye crater. I still don't really understand what this thing is. Some kind of robot contraption for robots? Alright, let's start sailing. Away!